Good morning, everyone. At this time, I'll call the Crow Wing County Regular Board Meeting for October 12th, 2021 to order. If you'll stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the flag for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, we'll have open forum. If there's anyone here who would like to speak to any subject other than what's on our printed agenda, this is your opportunity to speak.
Mr. Chair, I have one person that I don't recognize on Teams. I don't know exactly what they're here for, but
There's one person on Teams with a 218-295 number. Can you identify yourself, please? Or 829-5862?
all right.
Hearing none, we'll move on.
Okay.
Number 3 is the review and approve the minutes from October 28th, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine, second by Commissioner Coring. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Number 4 is to review and approve today's agenda. Look for a motion. Move approval. Motion by Commissioner Hoag, second by Commissioner Franzine. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Franzine, second by Commissioner Coring. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. We'll delay number 6 and 7.1, and we'll move on to 7.2, the sponsor City of Cross Lake 2026 Federal Transportation Alternative Grant Application. Good morning, Mr. Bray.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. We have 2 items, I guess, on, and then we'll get into the public hearing in just a little bit. The first one, I'm a little bit disheveled here. The first item is a resolution of support for the 3rd year in a row application for the Transportation Alternatives Grant. This is a federal grant that's competitive in the state of Minnesota. If you recall, the last 2 years we applied. Therese, can you bring up the resolution or the RBA there? We've been working with the City of Cross Lake for the last, this will be the 3rd year applying for a grant. Because it is a federal grant, they must have a sponsor. This resolution just establishes that Crow Wing County will be the sponsor again this year. The application will be due in January, and we won't hear again until about April or so. Is this the right one? Yes, it's really to be a sponsor for a federal grant. It's the same one we've done for the last 2 years.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I do, I guess I do, if you want to take the time to go through what the project is, I do have a quick presentation on that.
That's County Road 3 and 66 up there.
That is correct.
I think we've heard that, but I'd be willing to make a motion. To go
Mr.
forward
Brecken
with
makes
that.
the motion to approve the resolution to be the sponsoring agency for the City of Cross Lake Transportational Alternatives application. Second by Commissioner Franzine. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Thank you. We'll move on to 7.3 then.
7.3 is for the same grant, but this is just a separate issue, agreeing to actually allow the trails and the sidewalk that are part of the proposal of the grant to actually occupy the county road, CASA 3 and CASA 66 roadway corridor if we are awarded. There are some, these are sidewalks and trails adjacent to these roadways, and they would have to at least partially be located within there. And it's helpful to establish that for the grant application, that what the federal government is going to fund is actually going to be okay to be located. So it is almost a technicality. But it is also similar to, or exactly the same as a resolution that you passed last year in support of it. So it's for the same project.
Any questions?
Mr. Chair, I'd make the motion on that.
Motion by Commissioner Brecken, second by Commissioner Coring. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. Thank you. So I believe we're past the 9:05 point. So
Mr.
at this
Chairman.
point, go ahead.
I would move to open the public hearing on Carolyn Lane improvements.
Motion by Commissioner Coring, second by Commissioner Franzine. All those in favor of opening the public hearing signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Not in favor, same sign. We are now open and have the public hearing. So, Mr. Bray, do you want to lead us through this?
Sure, this is this is the public hearing for the petition of those living in the vicinity of Carolyn Lane. They came forward this summer, I believe, I don't have the specific dates, to actually pave the existing roadway that's gravel, Carolyn Lane. There's been some neighborhood meetings, there's been some other discussion here at the board. This is the assessment hearing. Currently, this is the status of the petition. It's been established 21 property owners are benefiting from the paving of Carolyn Lane. Those in red are opposed. So 17 out of 21 are in favor of it, and 4 are not. And this is the percentages there. So we're following the procedure that has been established a few years ago about paving these roads that have been accepted by the county but remain gravel, and the residents come forward essentially to assess themselves to have the road paved.
Okay. Any questions here? If none, the meeting is open. If there's anyone that would like to speak regarding this. If you give us your name and where you live.
Tony Smith. We live at 20620 Carolyn Lane. We've had some discussion about this. I think everybody's fairly clear on why the 4 properties in red are opposed to this, because we don't really abut the road that's going to it. There could be argument that we're benefiting from that, which I wouldn't disagree with. Are we benefiting equal? As all the property owners that touch it that are in green, they all touch that property. As the pavement comes in, it's going to hook up to their paved driveways and such. And the road that is currently shown there in white does not exist. That's a public road right-of-way. That road right-of-way does protrude over to Hidden Paradise Campground, who owns the property in white there. The property in red that goes to the north actually does not hold legal easement out to Carolyn Lane. Their legal easement goes straight out to Ojibwa. So there's been a little bit of, I say, when they delineated the 21 properties to this improvement, there wasn't enough research done as far as easements, title searches, things like that. That property should not be included at all. Bruce Friesen that owns that property, his legal easement goes out that way. Does he currently use this? Yes, he drives back there, but he doesn't have he just has a shed back there, and it's just a piece of vacant property, so he doesn't own a residence there. The other 4 of us are, I'm not saying we're against this in the petition as the way it stands right now. It's equally divided amongst everybody. Equal benefiting does not exist, in my opinion. I'm going to reference one state statute that says that you cannot special assess a property owner if it doesn't increase their market value the same or more. I had an appraisal done on my property recently that says it does not going to increase my property value by $5,000. Does it increase the other property values by that much? I'm not sure. I don't know. You'd have to do individual appraisals on those properties. But my argument here today is that it does not benefit all the 21 properties equally, and that in the state that this is currently being brought to you to approve, everybody's going to pay an equal share. Now, if we're going to be included in this and we're going to pay for the tar to go all the way in front of where that blue thing is, where the blue is denoted there, then it would only be fair that they pay for the tar to go in front of our property, right? We pay for it to go in front of theirs, they pay for it to go in front of ours. That would be equal. The problem with that is that's not a public road coming in. The only public road that's currently there that exists is in the blue. I think the process is a little bit flawed because in our county, everybody knows our roads aren't like North Dakota where they go section by section. We've got private roads, and you guys have seen this a million times, and you've seen property disputes, and it's not black and white. And you guys have done a good job in trying to separate that as far as this is the process to build a county road, this is a process to pave a county road. Errors were made in a lot of cases when developments were done over the past 30, 40 years as far as the developer should have paid to have that road tarred. The 4 properties that are in red are the only 4 properties that existed before that development was put in place. And now we're being asked to pave for the road that should have been done by the developer. Those are kind of my comments, and just follow the law. I guess if it doesn't increase the property by the assessed value, you can't do it. Thanks for your time.
Can I
Thank you
make
very
a
much.
comment before he goes? I almost feel like you're splitting hairs because you said it isn't equal. Well, if I look at that map, if you're the first property owner when you come in there,
Right.
how is it equal for him when he's coming in that little bit? The person on the very end where the roundabout is, they're the ones that are benefiting the most. And you that are coming out there, you're still using the majority of that road. So when you say equal, I just don't know how we can equalize it so that it's equal
Agree.
for everybody.
Agree with you 100%, Mr. Corning. So it's no different than why would you ask one of these property owners to pay for Ojibwa Road to be done? They don't touch it, the property doesn't abut it, you would never include them in an assessment to do Ojibwa Road. If you were 300 feet from Ojibwa Road, you would never include them in that assessment. And you're exactly right, we're splitting hairs by saying, okay, it's either all or nothing, right? It's either we can't start saying, okay, lineal feet and you own this much property along there. The fact is the tar is going to come and touch their property. It's not going to come anywhere near our property.
I understand that, but you still are benefiting from having a tar road there because you're going to be using that road when you leave.
Yep, so does all these people use Ojibwa Road, use 371. I mean, where do we draw that line?
Right, but we're all paying. I live south of town, but I'm helping to pay for Ojibwa Road that you drive on every day to come to town.
Correct.
And you pay for roads that are down in my district. That's
Right.
just the way it works.
So
Okay.
if that's the way it works, then you have to follow the law. Where's the special assessment law? That's a Minnesota state statute that says any special assessment needs to increase that market value by the amount it's being assessed.
Well, I think it's increasing your value of having a tar road at least almost into your property.
I have an appraisal, a document that says it's not. So it's an opinion versus a licensed appraisal.
Okay, well, I guess I don't.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else? If you'll come up and give us your name and where you live?
Hi, my name is Crystal Wagmeister. I live at 20612 Carolyn Lane. A couple, to talk what Mr. Smith said. I think the petition or the regulation says that you benefit from the road, not necessarily, your taxes and then, or that your property value necessarily goes up and can we trust every appraisal, but it's do you benefit? And I agree with you, Commissioner Coring, about, he drives a huge portion. And we have the actually first parcel owner here, who I believe is in favor of proceeding, and he only uses the first 200 feet of Carolyn Lane. An overwhelming majority of us on Carolyn Lane, over 80%, have agreed to come together on this original petition, which includes everyone paying the same amount per parcel. Everyone could come up with an argument, I think, on Carolyn Lane on why they maybe don't want to pay as much as their neighbor. We have multiple seasonals that they only come up on the weekends and use that road, weekends, every other weekend during the summer, and then don't use it again all winter. We have people that don't even have a house on their parcel. You have a shed or have nothing and use Carolyn Lane minimally that have agreed to pay an equal share with the rest of us. You could argue a million things. The problem is we've got a great opportunity, and 80% of us, an overwhelming majority of us, have seen that this great opportunity that we're allowed to proceed with. And to let, minute little things, I think it's gonna take away the possibility of us improving our community. Multiple of you commissioners have been out to Carolyn Lane, and remember that road, that diagram's not quite accurate. It looks like that's a road. It's a private driveway. I paid for my own private driveway to get paid. I didn't ask my neighbors to help pay for it. And so the fact that, Mr. Smith is talking about, well, that driveway, that white part's a driveway. It's a shared driveway. It looks like a road, but I think if you remember when you were out there, it's a driveway. And so everybody else who wanted their driveway paid on Carolyn Lane paid for it themselves. They didn't ask their neighbors to help pay for it. I guess in closing, I just think that, a huge majority of us have came together and agreed on this petition, and I ask the board to, please agree with the vast majority and help us improve our community and move this petition forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else that would like to speak to this?
This is Daryl Bush. I'm on the phone.
Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me? Yeah, so I'm at 20560 Carolyn Lane. And I'd like to just agree with the previous speaker. That was going to be my point as well. Carolyn Lane is an L. It's not a T. And that section that people have been referring to as a road is really a shared driveway. It's not 2 lanes. It doesn't have drainage, and it's a shared driveway with those houses between those houses over there, and we've all paid to have our driveways paved, and I guess I would expect them to do the same.
All right.
That's it for me.
All right. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else on the Teams meeting who would like to speak to this matter?
Hi, yes, this is Brian Lemieux at 20526 Carolyn Lane.
Go ahead.
When we became a county road, all of us were assessed, to do the improvements on the county road. So we had to upgrade it. We paid for those upgrades. That shared driveway did not pay for those upgrades, I don't believe. I have a small portion on that. I'm one of the lakefronts. But yet, we're sharing the cost of this road for an improvement to the whole community. I did my driveway. It's almost as long as, about half as long as their driveway that goes into those 4 properties. So, I think when they want to get together and pave their driveway, that would be fine. But it is a driveway at this point. It's not a county road that we paid and upgraded to make it a county road. So I would agree with the people that are speaking for it as indicated. The other thing I'd like to say is I have a business in town, and I'm assessed on roundabouts I never use and areas that I never use, but that's just part of improving the community. So I'd like to let it stand that I'm in favor of it.
All right. Thank you very much. Anyone else online that would like to speak to this matter? Hearing none, I would look for a motion at this point to close the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we close the public hearing on the Carolyn Lane improvements.
I'll second.
Commissioner Corning makes the motion to close the public hearing. Commissioner Brecken seconds that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, same sign. That motion passes. We'll now move on to 7.1, which is the road assessment certification for Carolyn Lane.
Therese, do you have the resolution for you? The resolution that you'll pull up here has particulars. It establishes that 17 out of 21 were in favor of the petition. Whoops. And it has the cost splits. The estimated cost is $81,593.10, and that the assessment before it's amortized would be $3,885.38 for each of the 21 benefiting property owners. And that there is an option to finance it through the county, and that is 8%. Traditionally, we've seen that the folks have not taken that option. We'll continue to work with the property owners and their preference, and so the auditor has the appropriate information to put it on the tax roll or collect it in another way.
Over a 5-year period.
Over a 5-year period, I think it
Right.
is there. 8% for 5 years. Again, it isn't often that we have property owners utilize that option, but it is available.
And currently, this is for all 21 properties, just to be clear on that, is that right?
Yes, it's
That
established
assessment.
that it's for all 21 properties, so the 81,593.10 is divided by 21.
Okay, any questions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that we accept the road assessment certification that Mr. Bray is proposing. I know that Mr. Smith's brought up some very good points, and there's some history here that has made this very complicated in regards to this, but I think everybody deserves that we move forward and have a decision made today.
Motion by Commissioner Brecken, second by Commissioner Franzine. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, same sign. That motion passes.
So, Mr. Chair, before we move on, so Tim, can you just give the board and the public a little timeline of what will happen? Obviously, nothing is going to happen this fall,
Right.
but right away that you'll do the, I imagine, the engineering and then let the bids early in 22 so that they can get started on it this next summer, right?
Correct. This decision today officially will put it into our construction program. We will combine it with other first assessment district roadways that we plan to pave next year, so the residents will get a benefit of some costs of economy of scale savings. And so it'll be bid along with that, which we traditionally do February, March timeframe. So we will get to work designing it and making sure that it's drains properly and things like
Okay.
that.
Okay? Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Move on to number 8, Veteran Services Report. Good morning.
Morning, Chair. Commissioners. Third quarter's already here, already October. It's crazy how fast it goes. It seems like I was just here giving the other report, so. Couple changes over this last quarter. We've had a lot of activity increase. I want to point out that the dispatch in the article that they did the last time with the Blue Water Navy and the new presumptives was very, very good, and definitely increased a lot of I wouldn't say advertisement, but a lot of information out there for our veterans, and that really increased our claims that we've been putting through, so thank you. We have also decided for our operations that we are extending our hours. We're currently, or we were at 8 a.m. to 4:30. We are now 8 to 5 p.m. Extending those for the workday, for veterans who are working and can't quite get in during those hours. And again, we've always remained very accommodating to any veteran who couldn't make it in, that we set up appointments after hours. We've done weekend visits and home visits, things like that. So, but we did extend those hours just to be available, and that was on the 4th. So we're excited to kind of see if that increases. We're keeping track of those visits and phone calls and how many come in to make sure that it's worth it. Looking at all the other county veteran service offices in the state, I believe most of them are till 4:30. So being being Minnesota's favorite county to come to a place, hopefully we can set the standard. We've done a lot of outreach as well this last quarter. I've done 7 home visits to veterans who weren't able to make it into our office due to physical capabilities or not being able to drive. We've done some presentations at the Legions and BFWs, 3 of them, on fraud and scams. We've noticed over the probably over the last year or so, we've been noticing fraudulent activities and scams getting through. And this is not just for veterans, but this is for our community in whole. And we just wanted to, we teamed together with the Sheriff's Department as well, because they have some statistics and they deal with this every day and the heartbreaking things that have been coming through. And we're just trying to protect our veterans and get the word out for our elderly about these fraudulent activities and scams that are happening, and trying to keep them safe that way. So thanks to the Sheriff's Department for working with us on that. Andy Gallus has been great, and a few other members of the Sheriff's Department as well. On the radio, again, the 4th, we changed it from the 4th Friday to the 4th Thursday of every month. It's through R&J Broadcasting, so KKIN, Skeeter, K104, KKCQ, 96.7. We're on the radio, or I'm on the radio, kind of giving updates and reaching out as well for benefits and just getting the word out for our veterans. This last quarter, we've kind of been working on some different office procedures and focusing on increased, I wouldn't say it would be just this quarter, but throughout our mission is to increase veteran engagement even more than what it has been. And we're focusing on our pending actions and caseloads. One thing is just communication and making sure that we're following up with them before they are calling us wondering what's going on with their claims process. So scheduling appointments has really increased our ability to focus on each veteran and be prepared for their needs ahead of time and make the process a lot smoother. We still get our walk-ins, and they can sometimes get frustrated because they drove a distance to come to our office, and we are full with other veterans and appointments and stuff, and that's heartbreaking for us. But hopefully that gets out. Call ahead of time to our office and make sure that we have time set aside available for you if you want to come and see us. We're just working on outreach and getting new veterans into our office. So with articles and the radio show and just word of mouth, letting other veterans see how we treat them. They're not a number to us. They're, we build that relationship with them and that trust, and that's really what's needed in the claims process. And we've just been getting a lot of other veterans coming in because of word of mouth, so that's great. Like I was saying before, the high increase of claims being filed for Blue Water Navy veterans and their surviving spouses. We had one Vietnam veteran alone had a claim granted for bladder cancer. Bladder cancer is one of the new presumptives that was just put on the list this year. That he was denied back in the early 2000s, and it was granted, and he had a retro that came through of $375,000, plus his monthly compensation that he's getting every month. And what a life-changing event for him, and he's earned it. You know, he's been dealing with this for so long. If it was granted to him back then, he would have been getting this all along. But just to be able to help them with that and make sure that we can catch those things and get them in, get those claims in for them. This quarter, we filed 13 DIC claims. DIC claims are dependent indemnity claims for surviving spouses. It's for service-connected death benefits for the surviving spouses. 8 of those claims were previously denied due to like Blue Water Navy, which would pass in 2000. Those 8 have come back granted and have a combined pay or retro back pay of $305,000 or an average of $38,000 to these surviving spouses. I don't know the exact number, but several of them had referenced the article in the newspaper that was written by the dispatch, and also word of mouth, other veterans and surviving spouses spreading that word to have them contact our office. And they're also receiving monthly payments that, in most cases, doubled their income. You know, they're just living off of Social Security, and now they're getting that extra compensation for that. So, it's humbling working in this position because you do whatever you can to help them out, and you definitely see the reward and the thanks and everything. It reminds me that life is precious and about serving other people. So we signed 35 new veterans up for VA healthcare this last quarter. 24 of those were not eligible for VA healthcare in the past, and so that was either getting them service connected with a disability of 10% or more, which makes them eligible for VA healthcare, or it was because they were under the income guidelines that are given by the VA. So 2 ways that they can be eligible for VA healthcare is through a service connection of 10% or more, or depending on income. And I don't like to get our veterans service connect or VA healthcare based on income. I like to get them the compensation if we can. So that's my drive. We've had an increase in Gulf War era veterans. Been really trying to focus on the younger veterans and Gulf War veterans in, at least to know what the benefits are, what they could be, the different health needs that and presumptives of the burn pits and those bad diagnoses that are coming with our veterans who served over in the Persian Gulf War and in the Gulf War area, and just keeping them watching out for that and making sure that they're talk to their doctors and making sure if they have those that they come and see us and get the doctoring that they need for that. Customer service has just really been a focus, continuing to be a focus for us. If we get a good reputation in our office, that's going to bring people into our office. And I can't say that we've had too many negative contacts with veterans. Even if we haven't been able to help them, they've always been appreciative. And so that feedback hasn't come to us. Maybe it's come to you guys at all, to the chair or the members of the board, so that if you get that feedback, it'd be great to hear that as well. We kind of take every case when we come in contact with a veteran, if they call or if they stop by, that we just don't process what they're coming into our office looking for. One thing that I've noticed since taking this position is you'll get a contact and you look back at the past records where they, how many contacts they've had, and they haven't contacted our office for 10 years or 15 years. And so I try to take every contact, and I've given this to our office kind of practices, that if you come in contact with a veteran, look over their whole case as much as you can, see what they're service connected for, see if they are service connected, if they've been denied in the past, and try to look for that opportunity to maximize those benefits for them. And it may not be what they contacted us looking for, but we've helped out a lot of veterans that way. For example, seeing that somebody was service connected for hearing loss at 0% back in 2005, and when talking with them, they thought that they were denied because it was a 0%. Well, that's not the case. And so Each time the hearing gets worse, you can always go for increases. And so we filed a claim for increase for that veteran in this one particular. And it came back that he was 80% service connected because his hearing had got that bad over the 18 years that he was waiting for it. So, we just encourage our veterans to try to contact us at least every year or every 2 years as much as possible, just to review their claims file and just to see if there's anything else that we could do because of the changing laws, and there's so many different changes going out there. So we've also gone into our files, into different files, and I've looked for opportunities for some of our veterans by isolating, how old they are, and when they came into our office last. So more often than not, a veteran comes into our office looking for one thing and ends up with multiple things that we help them out with. And so, we wouldn't, most of the time we wouldn't be able to do that unless they contact us. So that's our mission that I've really been focusing on this last quarter and over the last year. So
I like that you're looking at their entire record and trying to update it, sort of like the insurance agents do with your insurance policies, to look for those opportunities. I think that's a great approach to looking at these individuals and what they might be eligible for. And we know the aging process brings a whole new dimension to what they experienced when they were in the war zones and that. So thank you very much, Eric, for doing that. Any other questions or comments for Eric?
Yeah, thank you for the job you're doing. Oof.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. County Sheriff, is Sheriff Goddard on the line?
He is not.
All right, we'll move on to the County Attorney. Is he on the line?
He is.
Mr. Ryan?
I'm having trouble bringing it up, sorry. I don't have anything for today, but I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Anybody have a question for the attorney? Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Have a good day.
County Administrator.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, just a couple of quick updates, and Don may want to weigh in on the first one. We've been approached by Attorney General Ellison regarding the opioid lawsuits that have been going around the country. There's a number of state attorneys general who have sued distributors and manufacturers of opioids that they were being overprescribed and that they cause societal impacts. It's very similar to the tobacco litigation. And so by January 2nd, we will need to decide, do we wish to join that settlement? Do we wish to go off on our own to sue? Or do we wish to do nothing? And there's some debate at AMC levels about how that distribution formula would occur. And so I'm not sure we'll want to take action until we get closer to January 2nd, but I did want you to know about it, and I am taking actions to get us positioned so we could join the settlement if you so chose. I don't know if Donna has anything to add about that.
Attorney Ryan, anything to add to the opioid settlement proposal?
Nothing to add. Nothing to add, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I'm happy to answer questions about it, though, if you have any.
I know that AMC has put together a group to work on the distribution.
Yes.
With the state, if we opt in. So I know that's out there, and I think it's wise for us to wait to hear from them to see what transpires with their efforts. So
we'll try to hold our cards as long as we can.
yes. There will be a decision point, though.
There will be a decision point, and, you got basically three options. And so I think the decision point is kind of obvious, but we'll play our cards to the best of our ability. We also will have on your next committee of the whole agenda, American Rescue Plan Act, some proposals for your consideration, so I wanted to give you a heads up about that. Happy to answer any questions about that or anything else related to county government.
Any questions? Comments? I'll just say thank you to Tyler and his group for working with the administration, and those are tough questions and decisions to make, so we'll look forward to the proposal. All right, with that, I would look, Commissioner Coring would like to talk about brushing your teeth this month.
Well, when we got here, I know you like to point out there's a lot of
That's right.
different things. I don't know who gave us this, but it's October is National Dental Hygiene Month. So brush ya, brush ya, brush ya.
And with that, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Commissioner Coring, second by Commissioner Franzine. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, not in favor, same sign.